coaching defines me. For a chance to go accept the challenge of that, but to lead some young men again, I hope that Sheridan is somebody nobody wants to see on their schedule pretty soon.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. This is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Bray Cook. The Mouth is out on assignment. I believe he's headed to a ball game or something tonight. He's on the road. He can't be there. Man, what a great show we have. And the guy we're bringing on has been having breaking news all over Arkansas.
Yeah.
Kevin Kelley, the head coach now at Sheridan, and him going to Sheridan, and we'll get him on here and talk to him about how that all went down and getting his philosophy on, not punting and onside kicks and the analytic part of it. And I know he's been off working with Bill Belichick and kind of cool deal, but I'm looking forward to having him on. What are you looking for?
Well, the analytic part of it, and, he's so confident in his beliefs on how he coaches the game. But I'm looking forward to the numbers behind it and kind of see what that says.
Yeah, and one thing about Kevin, he's going to have the numbers.
Yes.
I mean, and he studies it, does a great job. But, well, let's not mess around. If nobody wants to listen to us, let's go ahead and bring him on. Our BSN guest this week, head coach at Sheridan, Coach Kevin Kelley. Coach, welcome back, baby. We've missed you last year or so. It's glad to have you back in Arkansas coaching again.
Well, I appreciate it. I missed Arkansas high school football for sure. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood,
There's no doubt. Well, talk to us a little bit about this. You're at PA, you won 9 state championships, unbelievable run there. You go to Presbyterian and we're there for a little bit and come back out. Just talk to us. What have you been doing the last year, really?
Yeah, well, basically, like you said, I left here, went to the smallest Division I college in the country, had 975 undergrad students. So it's basically like a medium-sized high school. And, I honestly, I didn't know what I was getting into. And I don't mean in the college game. I meant, I didn't know they didn't have summer school. I didn't know you had to ask that question. I should have. You got to, I should have done better. Didn't get my kids till August 7th. So I had to get them ready for a September 4th game 27 days later. And to be honest with you, in that amount of time, I didn't do a good job getting them to buy in, to the different strategy of a game with onside kicking and punting and all that. So, I felt like if I'd had more time, I could have got some more buy-in. But I was proud of this. I think we ended up first in the country in passing per game, and I think we ended up third in total offense. So, I did get to see that my offense worked at the college level against, honestly, teams that had, 25 scholarships, and we didn't have any. So I felt pretty good about that. And then after that, I got offered a job by Bill Belichick for the Patriots. So I went and spent some time up there. Man, learned a ton, just really, really lucky to be blessed and get those opportunities and learn a ton. Was missing my family, was going to miss my daughter's graduation from high school, and I've missed too much stuff. And I just made a decision that I wanted to come back down and watch the family. And Coach Belichick was really nice about it, even offered me to come back up the next year if I wanted to. And I started a business down here that was basically coaching kids in a different way, 2 to 10-year-olds, giving them an athletic platform and a foundation for those that wanted to be athletes, for those that were on the spectrum somehow, helping them learn to fit in and gain some confidence. And then I opened up some classes for 55-year-olds and up to help them with core and balance and not to fall down. And we used everything from Olympic rings to, gymnastics rings and slack lines to what balance on and climbing walls. And I'm talking from the 2-year-olds to the 80-year-olds. So it's been a fun experience. And all the while I've been contracting out and doing some film work for high schools and colleges and some analytics writings. And then I wrote for Hootens on the 7A this year. So I kept heavily involved in football because that's who I am. People that say, you'll see a mayor do something and for a city and he'll get on the news and say, being a mayor doesn't define me. Or some doctor says being a doctor doesn't define me. Coaching defines me. That's who I am. I coach guys on the when they're driving down the highway, not driving well. I coach them up. I coach my wife. I coach my kid. I'm a coach. So, I'm excited to get back in and found a school in Sheridan that needed somebody, wanted somebody, and you look up, and now I'm able to do I own a business my son's running, and I've got Sheridan High School football, so I'm excited.
Well, let's get into that. I mean, obviously you were around for a year, and some opportunities probably came your way. About getting back into. What stood out about Sheridan? I mean, Sheridan's not been a powerhouse in football. I talked to you, and you chose them, obviously, and talk to us, what's your mindset going into this thing, and what attracted you to the situation?
Well, first of all, I had a couple opportunities to go back to college. And, man, I wouldn't mind D2 college, to be honest with you, but I didn't want any part of Division I college. I don't like the recruiting part of it. I don't like the portal. It's a nightmare. I don't know how that's going to end well for them, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
And but when I was, looking to get back in, and it had to be a perfect place. And I mean, perfect for me, not perfect might be Bentonville or Bryant, facilities and good programs and stuff. I really wanted people. I wanted good people. And Sheridan has good people. One of my best friends in the world is from Sheridan. He coached there 22 years. And he said, man, that's a great town. So I thought, okay, I like good people. Second of all, I wanted a challenge. I wanted a program. I love coaching kids. This is, man, people say this, but I mean it. I mean, the youth of today needs more of an impact than we've ever needed in our society. Just ever. And they need to remember hard work got us this great country. Accountability, doing your job got us this great country. And also that you could take something that you don't think is possible, like we did with America, and made it a great country. And going down to Sheridan, I got my first taste of that. I was introduced to a basketball game. A lot of people came by and said, hi, super nice. And they're like, hey, glad you're here. Don't know if we can win here. Don't think we can win here. Or we can't win here, And when I looked and I got to meet the team and saw some kids, I hate for a group of kids to think they can't accomplish something. And if they think they can't win in football, do they think they can't be the first ones in their family to go to college? Do they think they can't be the first ones in their family to build a company and make something great that either helps them and their family or helps society? And I'm a guy that wants to help guys realize if you work hard, do it the right way, and for me, have numbers to back it up. You can't just go after a willy-nilly idea. But if you have something that backs it up, you've got a chance to do that. And Sheridan's the perfect place because I've been told, I haven't looked myself, they hadn't had a winning season since in this century. That seems like a lot. And I heard, and somebody said yes, somebody said no, that they haven't won a playoff game in 46 years. And I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's true, but I know it's close to that. And so for a chance to go and accept the challenge of that, but to lead some young men again and just coach football, it seemed like the right place, the right time, prayed about it. And that's where I ended up.
Well, and your track record speaks for itself, 9 state championships and all the other things that you do. Talk to us about this just a little bit. Is, your style's a little different. I love talking to you about, the analytic part of it and really kind of doing some research. You talked about in 2014, you kind of figured it all out as far as the analytic part and what you want to do. Get into that a little bit, and we'll go a little further into that part of it as far as this works for me. This might not work for others.
Yeah.
The steady part of, just winning ball games, doing it.
Well, I've got biology on my degree, and I'm certified to teach all science. And in science, there's experiments, there's labs, and you can't just run one test and go, well, that's a fact. Otherwise, and I always use the simplest of examples. If I have a quarter in front of me and I flip it and it comes up heads, can I then say, well, this quarter always comes up heads? No, that was just one time. So I like numbers to back me up. And in 2014, which you mentioned, I was real lucky. A guy named Daryl Morey, who's the general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers now. He was of the Houston Rockets. He graduated with a degree from Harvard, then got a master's at MIT, and he started something called the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, sponsored by ESPN. And in 2009, I went there and had a blast and got to sit on the stage and with some NBA guys, some baseball guys. It was really cool. We were talking analytics. I said, why'd you pick me, Daryl? And he said, you're the only one in football that's doing anything remotely with numbers. And basketball, baseball, and hockey in pro level, they're all doing it, but football's not. So we got, that's what you get. Well, 2014, he calls me back, and I said, listen, I don't want any money. Don't pay for my hotel. I don't want anything. If you'll give me an hour with ESPN's data scientists. He said, I'll get it done. So I got an hour with these guys, and I just asked them questions that I wanted to know the answers to that I thought mattered in football. And basically what I figured out, it was the things that mattered in football the most, things that helped you win the game the most, that weren't subjective. I mean, like we can't say, well, whoever blocks and tackles the best. What does that mean? I mean, we can't really grade that, exclusively. And sometimes the guy on the other side might make you miss a tackle and you didn't tackle wrong. He was just really good, So what the numbers that I came up with that I could pattern our team around were like, who had the most 20-yard plays? That wins over 80% of the time. Who has turnovers is second, but everybody's doing turnovers. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's trying to punch the ball out and all that kind of stuff. And then there were things like 77% of all teams who won the sack battle won the game. So immediately I go back and go, we're going to start blitzing, and I got to teach my quarterback to get the ball out sooner so we don't take sacks. Here's an example of that. When we were, I looked at the amount of times we scored touchdowns, and then I went and looked at when we got a sack on a drive, what that number went down to. Okay. It went down, and we scored like 80% less if we gave up a sack on a drive. I mean, they're drive killers. And I always wondered why. And then I started thinking about it, even if it was on first down, and I used 4 downs, even if it was on first down, it frustrated me as a play caller. Golly, it's 2nd and 16 now, and you start thinking differently. You hesitate. Players are out there. They're pissed off at the tackle that let the end go. And, it just creates frustration. So anyway, I took all those and had several of those things. And I went back and implemented exactly what we could implement at PA. And I mean, study it, pound it into the kids' heads on how important it was. Because if you make them feel like it's important in winning, they'll buy in. And so I did all those things. And, man, it turned things around. I won 3 state championships in the first 11 years, and I won 6 of the next 7. So, and the numbers had a ton to do with it and the way we coached the kids up to those numbers.
Well, I think you hit on something. You're talking about sacks, and you're talking about, not taking sacks, and, you hit on blocking and tackling. You're hitting on things that really can change a ball game and emphasize it, and the part of explaining it to your kids and having them buy in. Talk to me a little bit about this, and we talked about this a little bit, is getting those people, your kids, which is the most important thing, to get bought in. But you got critics also. What's your numbers guy going to show them the numbers? What's your message to those people?
I've tried using numbers. That works on some people. But the bottom line is, I think when you speak from the heart, you win a lot of people over. And here's what I mean. I try to get the players first and the coaches, obviously, and then I get to the parents. And here's the bottom line spiel. It's this. When I get hired as a coach, when I went to PA, they had never been to a state championship game. Everybody thinks I inherited a great program. They were solid people, but they had never been to a championship game and only been to the Final Four once in the history of the school when I went there in 97. And when I first took over as head coach, this is what I said to the parents. I said, y'all, I'm going to do some things that y'all don't approve of because you've not seen it in football, that you think are crazy. And so what I'm asking you to do is, number one, believe this. Do you believe, and I made them raise their hands, and I try to do that to get them interactive. Do you believe as a coach that I want to fail? If you do, raise your hand. Well, nobody does, And I'm like, do you believe that I want us to win games? Partially for me, because I like to win. Partially for your kids. I want them to experience success. Partially for you, for the community. Do you believe that? Everybody will raise their hand. I said, then why would I do something silly and crazy that I'm going to be criticized for if it doesn't work, if that's my goal? So, I'm just saying, I must believe in it. I'm putting myself out there at your criticism, at the media's criticism, to do that. They all agreed that makes sense. And I said, so what I'm asking you to do is if I believe in it, and I do, I'm never going to do anything I don't believe in. I'm going to do it this way. What I'm asking you to do as a parent is don't influence your son if you don't believe in it. I'm not asking you as a parent to believe in it. I'm asking you to believe I think this is the best way, because why would I not do it this way? So what I'm saying is I'm not asking you not to say I'm an idiot. I'm asking you just not to tell your kid I'm an idiot. Tell your wife when you're laying in bed at night, or tell your bartender, or tell your barber, or tell your insurance agent this coach is a moron, but just don't tell your kid, because if you tell him, you're actually not helping him achieve winning or a great season. You're causing him to hesitate, to not believe his coach. And there's no way you can think that that's going to help us win games. So if your goal is to win games for your son, and my goal is to win game for your son, then if you're telling him bad things about what I believe in, it's not going to help us win. So you're hurting his chances to win games, because I'm doing it, whether you like it or not, because I believe it. And that's really the way I'll probably win more people over.
Well, and with the success, obviously, but you've believed in this system for a long time, and it's had a lot of great success. And it's funny because I've seen coaches pull from you and do these things, the onside kicks, and you're seeing that more and more. Let's kind of turn the table here. Coach Belichick and you have a great relationship, and you've spent a lot of time with him. If you can, I know the NFL is about gathering information and not giving information out.
Right.
But what did you, with the experience with him over the years and obviously working with him, what did you take from him you think you can implement in high school?
Honestly, probably, and it's a vague concept, but what I found is he has a meeting once a week during the season to come up with an idea that could basically help them win a game. And I'm not going to give any of the answers away, but help them win a game without getting any better or practicing any longer or anything like that. And it was amazing, the ideas that were come up with, that we would go like, wow, that makes sense. We have to do that. And basically he believes, and I think this is why I know they're not having a great year this year. Their defense is still good, but their offense is not good. And some mistakes were probably made. And the guys leading that offense, not this year, but last year, that's led to this. But he has stayed on top for a long time. And I don't care who you have at quarterback or whatever. It is hard to stay on top in the highest level of anything for that period of time. Nobody's done it like that. And I think it's believed, he always believes there's a better way to play the game, a better philosophy, a better strategy, better X's and O's. He thinks there's a way for any team to score, to find a way to score points, and any team to find a way to stop the other team. And it doesn't matter where he gets it, which is why I think he and I became buddies. He just saw I was doing something different, got interested in it. And the more we talked about it, the more he liked different. And I think that made him not necessarily adopt everything, obviously, but made him go, look, wait, there's still a bunch more things we can do in football. In probably 1990, we thought we were doing all we could in the game of football. And then, it changes and you see different things. And that's what I took away the most, is no matter what I'm doing, I have to keep reevaluating myself every year, make sure I'm doing all I can as a coach, as X's and O's, as strategy, as philosophy, to give our kids the best chance to win. And I've got to not be afraid to say I was wrong and throw that out. And I think that's the big thing coaches, and let's be honest, males in general don't like to admit they're wrong. But if you're willing to admit you're wrong, I'll give you an example. I don't know. A lot of people watching this will remember the name Pip Runyon. Pip Runyon was awesome man. I mean, and my friend died of cancer a few years ago. I hired him in 2008. I was scared to hire him because he had been a high school coach. And I was like, he's older. He's been a coach. He's going to be thinking this guy's crazy. And he talked me into it with, Coach, I'm been a high school coach, a head coach. I know what I wanted. I'm going to be that for you. I'm like, all right, you sold me, So, but me and him would go back and evaluate. And I would say at the end of the year, I'd go, hey, list our 3 best running plays, coach, because he was our O-line coach. And he would list them in order of how we thought they were good, the most yards per play. And I listed our pass plays. And when we started looking at the film and we did it, the play he had as the best play was actually our worst running. And that told me something. Now, that didn't mean because he's one of the smartest men I've ever met. And the play I listed as our second best pass play We were 3 for 27 that year with an interception and 2 sacks. And I'm like, how would I think that was the best play? How would Pip think that the inside zone to the right was our best running play? Here's what it was. On the inside zone, we had the longest run we had all year as an 80-yard touchdown. And he just remembered that happiness, that feeling, and associated that was our best running play. I remembered we scored we completed 3 out of 27. That's awful. 1 out of every 9 passes, but 2 of them were for touchdowns in crucial parts of the game. And one of them was an 80-yarder that helped us take the lead in a game that we ended up winning by 1 score. I associated those 2 out of 27 as that was a great play, and I forgot all the times it didn't work. So that made me realize you have to go back and evaluate the numbers, not the way you feel, because you can't go, that was our best 5 plays. That was our worst 5 plays. And you got to be a man and admit, maybe I just suck at coaching that play and I got to throw it out. Or maybe that's a bad play for the defenses we see or the offenses we see in this conference and throw it out. And, and that's what Coach Belichick does a really good job of. And that's what we did a little bit before. But once I got up there and saw that ego can't walk in the door, that really told me something.
But it is funny you bring that up is, every coach goes back and looks at, how many times they ran it, what worked, and you got to dive in the numbers. I remember we would put a trap play in every year, week 5, and it stunk, and we would practice it for 20 minutes that week or whatever. And I remember going back and I go, first guy that brings up the trap play, buddy, it's getting X'd out. It don't work, we didn't bought into it in that part. Well, Coach, I'm going to get you off here. I want you to tell one story because I've heard this story before, and I think it, with your football knowledge and where you came from, your life story is an awesome story, but the story when you were in high school football and your coach quit in the middle of the game. I mean, that's one of the great stories of all time. But after hearing it, I could see where, that kind of shaped you a little bit. Get into that. I know it was a big part of my thinking in life because I remember it like I'm standing. I can't remember a lot of my 17-year-old self, but I remember that like it was yesterday. And I was actually 16, so I'm actually 15. I was a sophomore in high school, 15 years old. 3rd game of the season. I won't say the coach's name. I don't even know where he is, but I was running in and out plays. Remember before we did signals, we ran in and out plays. And there was a senior and me, the sophomore. We were running in and out plays. And it was right before the half, 2 minutes left. We're at Bauxite. We're down 14-0. I played at Glenwood. I'm at a little bitty town. Everybody thinks I'm a private school guy. I'm a public school guy. I mean, I was, my whole life was public school. And I love football because it gave me a group to be a part of. I didn't have any money, didn't have much going on. Dad wasn't around, all that. It was perfect. But so I look forward to my coaches as being my guys. Well, I got to senior high, and a new guy came in, and this is the guy. So we're in game. We're 0 for 2. We're 0-2. We come in. We're less than 2 minutes. We're down 14-0 at Bauxite. And, they just scored. They kick off to us, and the senior receiver always went in first. So we went and stood beside coach, and he told the guy's name was Randall Vesey. He told Randall the play. So he said, hey, Randall, you tell John Bright, who was a longtime girls basketball coach at Glenwood or Center Point. He said, you tell John, our quarterback, he better take a knee. We're going to take a knee and just go in at half. Goes out there. He trots out there. Randall does. They're in a crowd. The huddle is, and I see what looks like some unrest going on out there. Some guys leaning in, being demonstrative, and I'm like, wonder what's going on. Well, they line up, run a draw play. And we make like 15 yards on it. Coach goes nuts. He's yelling. He's looking at me and yelling. I'm like, I'm a 15-year-old sophomore. I wasn't out there, And Randall comes off the field and he starts yelling at Randall. He's like, Randall, you little mother blanker, I told you this. He wasn't light on words. Coach wasn't. So he told him, and Randall goes, Coach, I told him to take a knee, and John called the play, and the senior left guard or right guard, his name was Steven. He told John, if you do that, I'm gonna kill you. And he might, Coach. So he said, John said, what do you want to call? And he said, call a draw. So we called a draw. So he goes, Kelley, you better tell him and everybody out there, I'm going to run them until they bleed or whatever. So I go trotting out there and I'm like, hey guys, Coach is really mad. He said, take a knee no matter what. And Stephen looked at John Bright, the quarterback, again. And he said, hey, if you take a knee, John, I'm going to kill you after this game's over with. And John looked at me and said, what do y'all want to run? And one of our other seniors, Scotty Howell, said, let's run a screen pass. I think it was Scotty that said it. So let's run a screen pass. So John's like, all right, calls a screen pass. We made like 15 yards. So we're up to the 50-yard line now in 2 plays. And we got 2 timeouts left. And there's like 1:20 left. I'm thinking, now it's going through my head. Okay, I got to trot back over here. Coach is going to be mad, but we're doing pretty good without Coach. And so I run back over, and he is just cussing and screaming at me. And I'm like, Coach, I promise I told him to take a knee. I mean, these guys, we're the only 2 sophomores out there. These other guys are, they're grown men. They're not playing around. Well, he had told Randall the same thing. Randall trots out there. They're supposed to take a knee. Now we're at the 50. He throws a 10-yard out route. Now we're on their 40. We completed that. It's the best we've done all year. and Coach looks out there, looks at me and says, I quit. Throws his clipboard up in the air. I never saw the man again. Never saw him. After that night, I haven't seen him since. Haven't heard from him. I don't know what happened. Just, it was something.
Oh, I love that story, but I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, the things but I could see that has, you have a coach that's not maybe as good as others.
What was crazy was we only had 2 football coaches at Glenwood High School. And one of them wasn't a football coach. It was the assistant girl. I mean, it was the head girls basketball coach that just wanted another stipend. Didn't like football, didn't care about football. His name was Bruce Vaughn. He actually won a couple of state championships. He did well at Glenwood, moved to Beaumont, Texas, won 2 state championships down there coaching basketball. Now he's back up here refereeing baseball, I think, retired. But he took over the rest of our season. And I'll say this, we didn't win any games, but we sure did have a lot of fun. Because all he did, we'd go out there and just scrimmage. He had one human being. We'd go out there and scrimmage and just play 11-on-11 every day and go play a game on Friday nights. And it was a blast until we lost all of our games. That wasn't very fun, but it was what it was.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Hey, Kevin, man, I appreciate you coming on. Good luck to you this year, and we'll see you down the road.
Well, we hope so anyway. I mean, if I'm over, maybe not. But I think I like the kids' attitudes, and I like what we're going to try to do there. And so I think we'll be okay. And I hope that Sheridan is somebody nobody wants to see on their schedule pretty soon.
Well, good deal. Well, thank you, Kevin. We'll see you down the road, buddy.
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, how great was that to listen to all that? I mean, the experience that he's been through, 9 state championships at PA, tries things out in college, goes to school where they didn't have any scholarships against other people that had 25 scholarships or more.
Makes it tough.
Yeah. And then, running his own business and then getting back into it, which I think is going to be great for the state of Arkansas. But man, I tell you what, going into Sheridan with, a team or a school that's not been rich tradition in football, and it's going to be great, very interesting to see how he does.
It will be. It'll be fun to watch him.
No doubt. Well, Bray, let's get this. Tell everybody how they can find us. We're booming up in
Continue
YouTube. We're growing, buddy.
Like and subscribe on YouTube, Coach's Pod, Coaches in the Mouth. You can find us there. You can also find us on X under Coach's Pod. Our store is going to be available here pretty soon, right at Christmas time, Coach. Yeah. We'll have that store connected to our YouTube, X, Instagram, all those things. Go buy yourself some merch.
I'm all
How
over
about that? Get some merch.
We gotta get some Christmas gifts, man.
Get some merch.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Things done.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Bray Cook, we'll see you next time.